Hello my friends, in this video you are going to learn how to listen to a bass guitar or bass, whatever bass you have, and how to find the issue or the pass of the mix. So let's listen to this bass without these effects that I have added here. Okay, now with the effects. So we have literally moved from a boomy bass guitar to a somewhat cleaner, bigger, fatter, and more efficient one. So my processing chain here. Let me enable them one by one. First of all, I have added an equalizer. It's just a simple equalizer, and you can use yours, whatever you have. But I would suggest equalizers like REQ, or if you are on Reaper, you could use its own equalizer, or if you are on Cubase's stack equalizer or whatever is available for you. But REQ is great for bass. I don't know, it just feels right when you are using it on bass. I'm trying to focus on different passes in the mix, so I've changed my favorite plugins completely and I have new favorite ones. And I'm currently testing some plugins like Tukan and other different free or paid plugins that are available in these days. So what is Re-EQ doing here? Re-EQ is cutting around 110, and what it does here, it may sound weird because you have seen usually people boost around bass frequencies. I mean under 20, 150 hertz. So why am I doing this? I'm not crazy. I'm mentally healthy. I think I'm doing this for the sake of speakers that play sub and bass much stronger and they have extreme bass. What happens there? If you are not controlling these range of frequencies, you are facing a serious problem of boomy sound. It's like the whole song is suffocating in its own frequencies, and it will not allow your song to have a good presentation. So it has done this. Why have I cut high frequencies? Because of the sizzle and the noisy qualities that my amp here would boost, and I will have more of them. I don't want them to be in the way of hi-hat or vocal in higher frequencies or whatever instrument that occupies those frequencies. So it's not sounding really good for now. The second one is the Tukan compressor. You can use whatever you want, just pay attention to attack time and the release time and whatever you see here. I think I didn't change it much, just played with ratio. Anyway, this bass is so dynamic, so we need to control these peaks and bring up these valleys. This compressor is doing this job here. I didn't want this compressor to work so hard on taming peaks, and in the result it would be destroying all the excitement of the bass. It would have choked if I compressed it a lot with much lower attack, higher ratio. I know when we looking at bass, we want to use a compressor as a limiter, but I don't want to do that, and you will see why. So the next one is amplifier plugin from Brainworx. Let's check. It is Ampeg. could you hear it just lifted up the bass? And now bass is not in the way of other materials in low end. Yes, we don't have much of a low end, but cleaner sub and sub bass would always sound good in club or in big speakers, in big studios, in great acoustic treatments. It usually feels amazing, or even in high-end headphones that we use for mixing and mastering. So this amp changed the tone of our bass completely. Why didn't I do it sooner? Because then I needed to deal with some weird frequencies that I didn't dealt with, like these, and dynamic bass that would not sound very good in an amp, or maybe become more dynamic. So the fourth plugin is a dynamic EQ, and I will play, you will see. I'm not explaining this one. See, it's boomy and woody quality is now much more controlled, and we have just something like pure bass now, but still some resonances. Last equalizer is the finishing point. Now it has its own sound field occupation space, and it is more reasonable to me, in my opinion. So you might take different approaches to mixing bass, but it is my approach, it is my path. So I'm explaining how I think in this specific project. And why I have done this, I will show you how it sits in the whole song. So the important part is how it sits in the whole song, not the processes I've used or plugins I've bought. They are another debate. Now we are talking about how it sits in the whole song. So let's check in the whole song. FX disabled.
دنبال بهونه است که به خودشم پشت کنه وجود تو مرهم این زخمای عفونی تو حکم حیاتی توی این سرمایه کنونی دنبال بهونه است که به خودشم پشت کنه وجود تو مرهم این زخمای عفونی تو حکم حیاتی توی این سرمایه کنونی من
It is steady, it is constant. That is really important for a bass guitar. It exists but saves space for other materials, for loudness, most importantly, because if you allow a lot of bass or sub bass from whatever instrument you have into the sound field, you are going to have serious problem in reaching louder loudnesses. So this is how I mix bass. At least I mixed bass here. I used to use EQF 100 on almost every channel, but I removed them. I told you that there was cracked plugins. Of course, I will record another video and talk about this matter, this specific matter, that why I removed my cracked plugins and put myself in a lot of pain of finding replacements, but legal ones. We will talk about that later. So I hope you enjoyed, and I hope you will have a great mixing session after watching this bass manipulation process. If you have any question, comment below, and don't forget to subscribe and follow for more.